Greatness. Bow, bow, bow. Greatness.
What's up, everyone?
Go.
How's everyone doing? We got a couple people in the comments. We got 18 watching, and 3 people have let us know that you're here. We got
Awesome.
I threw them up there, but here, let's throw them up there again. Chalklons, Crystal, the Smiths, Jay Ruby from Wisconsin,
J. Rube.
Mom all the way from upstairs in your house, Alicia from upstairs. Alicia's feeding the baby right now. Carrie. All right, sweet. Well, like always, hop into the comments at any point in this show or on this podcast and let us know any comments, questions, concerns. I'll throw the offer again. Oh, we got Carla Ruby's in the house. Oh, now they're coming in. Yo, I made it tonight all the way from Florida.
Let's go, baby.
Norma, good vibes only. And once again, the offer is out there. If you would like to come live on the podcast, like we've done a couple times, and ask your question, we will send the request out to you from any device you have, laptop, tablet, smartphone, and we'll bring you on here live. You can ask the question, and then we'll kick you off. You don't have to be on the whole entire show, but just long enough to ask the question, get it answered, kind of discuss a little bit, and then we'll kick you out. So, anything you got before we hop into it?
I just want to shout out to our silent third-party guest, Carpet Jesus, behind Tyler's left shoulder.
Let's go. Right before we started. I just hung it.
Yeah. Carpet Jesus.
Hey, what's up?
Let's go.
Quick backstory. Montezuma, Iowa. Todd Jones, the pastor there. Someone died and donated that to the church. He told the youth pastor at the time before I got there, hey, we can't hang that in our lobby. Get rid of it. Don't tell me how you got rid of it, but just get rid of it. So that happened, got rid of it. Several months later, Pastor Todd was doing the nursing home rounds, goes to the nursing home, walks into this lady's room, and Carpet Jesus is hanging in her room. And she doesn't know how she got it. Someone just brought it in. Long story short, he resurrected, of course. I mean, Jesus from the dead, the grave, the dumpster, came back to life. My time in Montezuma, I had to do rounds at the nursing home, got to know the lady who was at the nursing home that had Carpet Jesus, and I just thought it was pretty cool. So she said, when I pass, I'm going to give it to you. We moved from Montezuma. She was still living. About 4 years after we moved, Todd saw me at one of the conferences across the state and said, hey, I got something for you in my trunk, and opened the trunk, and lo and behold, Carpet Jesus, she passed away, and one of her family members knew that I wanted it, or she wanted to give that to me, so she passed it on.
Tell them why it's called Carpet Jesus.
It's literally carpet.
It's made out of carpet.
Yeah, it's yarn, and it's threaded like carpet is threaded on your ground.
It's literally like shag carpet.
Here, can you guys? Oh, your boy focused it. Okay. Oh,
yeah. So look, it looks like a painting from here, but when you get up to it, it's all blended together because it's literally carpet.
Yeah. All right, we gotta get going. I got so much stuff
further away. That's dope though.
I'm sweating. I'm drinking tea. I have no sleep. We're fired up and ready to go.
You're dad of 3 now. It's literally the big leagues now.
We're ready.
It's no more playing dad.
One thing we never announce on here is we take the audio from the Facebook Live and send that to Spotify and iTunes. So at any point you can't finish the whole podcast, you don't want to scroll back through our Facebook. We're on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you can stream a podcast. We're on there. We also take this video, download it, and the audio, and then directly after this, it's also posted to YouTube. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So it's posted immediately after the show to YouTube and to Facebook. So, all right, we ready?
We're ready.
Let's start it. Well, welcome to the Renewing the Mind podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Sanchez. Joined with me, as always, is my dad, Dr. Raul Sanchez. How you doing, Dad?
I'm feeling amazing. Like back in the day at NDSU, we had a belief that said those who stay will play. Those who play will be champions. Once a champion, always a champion, baby. Until I die, right there. There should be. Let's go.
And there's the ring kids. On this podcast, we teach you how to renew your perspective, move towards uncertainty, and find what's awesome about that in every situation. Don't you ever forget it. There's 2 times to be great: when you feel like it and when you
you
don't.
always.
I want to start off and just say thank you to the podcast family for all of the text messages. Congratulations. Thank you for the understanding of taking last Tuesday off. Obviously, we brought in our third. Well, Alicia brought our third child into the world, Milana, and we've been over here hanging on by a thread. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that. Many of you maybe saw my post about it and just God's timing. So I just want to take a quick moment, talk about that, and then we'll jump into the statement that changed my marriage.
Alicia is a push pro.
Yeah, it's if you've never experienced childbirth like that, it's incredible. And then to see the control and the emotional strength and physical strength that Alicia saw or put forth in that moment,
every mom that's done it. So talk about the timing. How
so going into it, some backstory. We didn't want to have a Halloween baby, and we want my mom and dad to be my mom to be present in the room, and dad had to take care of the girls. So there was just some things we were praying about. So we picked in our head October 20th, that weekend would be perfect. Thursday night, Eliza woke up throwing up. Friday night, Stella woke up throwing up. Saturday into Sunday, I threw up. Obviously, that weekend's out. So during that whole sickness, we're praying, God, don't have the baby, don't have the baby, don't have the baby.
Alicia's quarantined in the basement.
Yeah, Alicia's quarantined in the basement. We're keep the baby inside her belly. As soon as we start feeling better, Tuesday, Wednesday, it worked perfect that next coming Thursday, Friday. So we're okay, have the baby, have the baby, have the baby. Jesus, have the baby. This is the perfect timing. We know this is the perfect timing. Didn't happen. Come Saturday, we're don't have the baby. We don't want a Halloween baby. Don't have the baby. Don't have the baby. Don't have the Halloween happens. Don't have the baby. Don't have the baby. Monday, we're okay, have the baby, have the baby. And finally, Monday morning, I just woke up not really feeling good and just kind of down and out. Some sickness moved back through our family. And so I just turned on some worship music and I just felt God say, have we been here before? Have you been in a moment where you think the timing that you have in your head is right? And really it's not my timing. And so not verbally, but just in my spirit, I heard that. And I just began to say, we're going to choose joy in this. We're going to choose to trust God's timing, that it's perfect, that there won't be any flaws in when Milana comes into this world. So that's what we did. So I called Alicia into the room and I said, hey, we're done trying to plan this. We're done trying to make this happen. Milana's coming into this world in the perfect timing. And there's a reason why she's been in your womb until now. And there's a reason why she hasn't had the baby, all these things. So we made that decision Monday. Obviously it's not okay, now everything's awesome. Cool. It's still man, when's she going to come? What's going to happen? And then Tuesday night, if you read the post, 6:27, she had her first contraction at Stella and Eliza's gymnastics. And then it progressed and she had the baby at 7:30 at the hospital. And so an hour and 3 minutes from her first, I think I had a contraction to baby out, breathing into this world. And what's crazy about that is that there's just so many things that could not have lined up that night that did. And it's 100% God's perfect timing. I was going to go hunting. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, that's not the big of a deal. No, it is that big of a deal. Because if I'm in the tree stand and she calls me, I'm at least 25 minutes before I get to her. By the time I get out of the tree stand, get down, I smell like doe pee, buck urine. I can't go grab, you know what I'm saying? Dad hunts.
You got harnesses strapped all over you. You can't even get the strap.
Yeah, I'm in full camo. I got deer dander all over me. I wasn't going to go with her to gymnastics. So, there's just all these things. Mom and dad were free. They were able to head right up to the hospital. It was just so many things that just lined up perfectly. They had nothing going on.
Yeah.
I called mom. She said, cool, I'm hopping in the car. They hopped in the car immediately. It was
Literally.
so many things are just, it was God's perfect timing. I say all that to say, man, if you're ever in a moment, and I know there'll come another time where I'm God, your timing's off. And you need faith. I heard someone say this, that faith is not just believing in the things to come, but it's also looking back and remembering what God has done. 100%. And so every time we think faith, we just, let's believe.
And part again, because people, you got to go slower on that second part.
Yeah, I heard this weekend, the speaker said, faith is not just believing in things to come, but it's also looking back and remembering what God has done. And
He's
so
already done that for you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna knock this into my memory as a moment where I go to question God's timing again. I'm gonna go remember the birth of Milana. And so I'm just saying, maybe you're here tonight and you're like, man, God's timing, you're praying for something that's not happening. You're like, this is the perfect timing. I would just offer to you, challenge to you, just surrender that to God. Say, God, your timing, your will, like you're perfect, and trust in that. So
and
that's
keep watching, keep looking, I always say, look for the hand of God, look for the hand of God, look for the hand of God. You had to keep searching, keep searching, keep searching. It's there.
And if you missed it, I'm drinking tea because I'm a dad of 3 now and I'm more sophisticated.
Because you realize you need some more energy.
No, it's sleep tea. So after I get off this, I can crash because I have a limited window of when I need to fall asleep.
Knock yourself out. Yeah.
When I was a dad of 2, this was Monster in here. Now it's Calamano tea or whatever, that sleep tea. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay. Anything you got on that?
I just think it's amazing. It's a great timing. All of it worked out. I didn't hunt either. I had all my flashlights and hunting gear in the truck. So I just go pick up the girls and they're like, what are we going to do? And I just look at the time of the clock and I was like, it's going to get dark fast. So we went to eat and then we went back to the park and I just started doing a chant, park till dark. And the girls can't get it out of their head. Tyler said the other day, Eliza was just laying on the ground, just like singing park till dark, park till dark. So I strapped on my hunting flashlights and we really just did some filming and we had the park all to ourselves because obviously it's dark.
Yeah.
So just helping the girls be brave and just run around with flashlights and do a bunch of park stuff. They loved it.
Sweet. All right, let's jump into this. So a statement that changed our marriage. Normally, if you come to hear Dad talk a lot and bring all of his wealth of knowledge, then tune into another episode. Rarely do I ever feel like I have something, not that I don't bring something to the podcast, but tonight is a show that I feel like.
Oh, wait, pause. One more part for me. I forgot. We need to give the winners. So
we did
like just the concept of like, how would you describe a good man, like a good woman, that kind of thing. So I just threw that out there. Like, the whole post on the concept of, you can't find a good man or they're hard to find because they are usually blank. So our Renew the Mind podcast team voted a unanimous winner for the guys. This was the answer. Why is it hard to find a good man? Because they are usually working hard, spending time with other good men, and staying out of trouble. So that was from Christy Drent. So Christy, I know you live in Siouxland, so you can come to Renew the Mind Clinic. We've got a care package for you with some bracelets and stickers and the beauty designed by our team. Bam. So anytime we need it to focus, it doesn't focus. There it is. The Renew the Mom podcast mug. There we go. So, and then on the girls, why is it so hard to find a good woman? Because she is usually the unanimous winner there was Busy. And that winner is Sarah Edmonds. So Sarah, you'll have to contact Stacy, give us your address. We'll have to throw that one in the mail because I know you live in Wisconsin.
All right.
At least that we knew you did. So thank you very much for participating in that stuff. It's always good for me just to get answers too, just because clinically I'm always looking for how people think, where they're at. And it's really good to just understand. You can see some patterns opened up there too. We'll talk about that later at another time. So, all right, go ahead, Ty.
Cool. So I had this thought and this idea, and it kind of goes along with, guys struggle and kind of men emotionally being able to express some of the things that we've been discussing. And men have a high suicide rate. They just don't talk about emotions. And so it's kind of along those same lines. But I had a conversation with a gentleman a couple weeks back that really kind of shocked me. And through that, I've told Dad I wanted to do a podcast on it. And so the Holy Spirit's just been kind of dropping some things into my heart. And so I titled tonight a statement that changed our marriage, because it truly did. And I double checked with Alicia, and she does also agree that it changed our marriage. So I'm not just up here saying like, I think it did. It's unanimous between the both of us that it did. And so I want to start with this. So many relationships, whether that's dating, engaged, or married, don't lay down their life for each other. The spouses don't lay down their life for each other every day. So biblically, it's very easy to see that the Bible calls the groom Jesus and the bride the church, and Jesus lays down his life for the church. And then it says we are to, in our marriages, in our relationships, to resemble that same thing. So the man, the groom, to lay down their life for the bride, or his, at the church for Jesus, and the bride for us. So we are supposed to, as husbands, to lay down our life daily, every single day, lay down our life like Jesus did in the example he set. And I don't think we do that. And so it comes back to, we've talked about this before. Well, one spouse says, well, my wife doesn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. And then the husband says, or the wife says, my husband doesn't do that, so I'm not going to do that. And we're like, well, you need to sacrifice and love. And well, I will when she does. And she's going, I will when he does. And it's this back and forth. And biblically, it's the man. Like, as tough as that is, it's the man's job to do it. So number one, if you're a dude listening, start laying down your life for your wife, regardless if your wife is doing that right now. That point one. Number two, if you're a wife and unfortunately you're in a situation where your wife or your husband is not doing that, then you got to do that. You got to lay down your life for your wife, or for your husband, even though he's supposed to and he's not. You got to step up and believe that God will honor that and soften his heart by you showing love.
Yeah. So let's jump in there. So the concept of the man is supposed to lead by submitting to God's authority, which is he lays down his life. So he leads not by an iron fist. I hear a lot of Christian men get it twisted because they're controlling, and they'll say, well, she's not even submitting to me. I tell her what to do. I told her not to go. I told her to do this, and she doesn't listen to me. So then therefore I'm not doing nothing for her. That's wrong. They're not supposed to be a slave. You don't command them. Jesus by faith leads them. You lay down your life. Okay. But if you're not, then the scriptures are clear that a Christian woman has to be so on fire with Jesus that it's the love that attracts him to God. It's not the, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. And people don't understand, they see where we're at now and they just think they can never reach that level. But no, they didn't understand that we had 3 mentors our first year of marriage and we almost divorced. Well, I mean, we almost separated, honestly. And then Stacy was beating me up emotionally, like, you should go. Tyler's watching. I'm like he cares if I go to church. There's a good game on today. So I'd sit back and watch football. That wasn't until her and her mom worked out a situation where, like, hey, you're not welcome unless you come home as a married couple. God tied you together. Nobody can break you up, kind of thing. So Stacy started, I think Fran, I don't remember, sent us the Marriage Partnership magazine, and Stacy started just reading that. And then she left me alone. It wasn't until she left me alone that I started feeling guilty. I started feeling some kind of disconnect, like Tyler and Stacy are growing and going and doing stuff without me, that I wanted to be a part of that again. And then even when we went to church, they went up front, or Tyler went to youth or little kids, and I stayed in the back of the church, like right where the awning was, because it was shaded. So even when I went to church, I still wasn't leading. And Stacy would go down in front and wave her hands with, all the college kids. They've got like 900 people in their college ministry at North Dakota State. So it was really big, and I was kind of overwhelmed and intimidated and insecure because I didn't even know what church was. Stacy would laugh. She's like, like that little Bible song. And I'm like, honey, I wasn't raised like that. Then she would laugh and giggle, but underneath that'd wound me. Like, I'm not going to go and feel stupid. So I promise you, if you're a Christian woman and your husband isn't leading, you can't yell at him. You can't let him feel how stupid he is. You can't start a fight with him. You can't pound him down. He already feels that. Your number one release is to serve Jesus with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. And that will be so attractive that the Jesus that he sees in you will attract him to our Jesus.
Yep. Through love.
Sense? Through love. 100%.
Yep.
When Stacy left me alone, I grew.
Okay. So that's point one. Following that up, I don't think men, and I'm talking to men specifically, and this is some examples that I struggle with, and I know Dad does too. And so we're just using generalities and also some things I've said before, and I've maybe or maybe not have heard Dad say. So some of the things we don't lay down our life for our wife is because we say things like this. Well, the problem is that the man doesn't serve the wife for these reasons. Maybe we say things like, well, they just need to suck it up. In any situation where the wife's like, oh, I'm exhausted, or I'm emotionally tired, or I'm super stressed, or I don't want to cook tonight, or whatever the sayings are, we say, we'll just suck it up. Or we say things like, oh, you'll be all right. It's not that big of a deal. You'll be okay. It's not that bad. Right. I've said that to Alicia. Oh, chill. Like, you're being a little emotional. It's not that bad. Right.
Right.
And I'm projecting on her how she's feeling because I don't feel that way. Or I've said, if I was you, that wouldn't have bothered me. I know maybe I've heard that one before.
Yeah,
over there.
Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't affect me. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand. If someone said that to me, that wouldn't bother me. I've said that before. I don't know why you're so emotional about that. That wouldn't bother me. Or I've said, I wouldn't care if that happened. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. Or I've used this before. Maybe you're being kind of a baby. You're being kind of a baby about it. You're kind of whining. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We also maybe feel like the women or the spouse is being too needy, too whiny, not tough enough. We feel like maybe they're nagging from time to time on the husband's end of it. And so we use our thinking and the tough, rough side that men are supposed to have, right? That non-emotional side, that just tough. And if we're not bleeding, throw some dirt on it, that society says, and we project that onto our wives. And then we don't really step into their world and how they feel and empathize with them, and then allow them to express how they're feeling, because we wouldn't feel that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the other thing I always hear all the time is, like when I do go above and beyond, like I've made choices to not go golfing because I've chose to not because my wife said it. And then I try to be tough about it. And I've heard people say like, oh, well, you're whipped, right? Or, oh, who wears the pants in the relationship?
We already know.
Right.
Just kidding.
I wear the pants every night, every day. No, I'm just kidding. She wears pants in the relationship. But when she leaves, no. So, we have all those things. Society always says that stuff, right? That's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to go hunting today. I'm going to spend time with the family. Well, in the back of all my dudes' minds or buddies' minds, maybe it's like, well, she said you can't, right? Or, hey, guys, I'm not going to play video games tonight. Well, maybe she told you you're not, and then you're telling us that you're choosing to, and really she just said, nah, she put her foot down. So all of those things to say, a couple weeks ago, I was in the lobby and I was talking to, I don't even think Leon Stevenson knows that this was that life shattering of a conversation, but I was just talking to him. He's asked me, he's a kind of an elder at our church. Not kind of, he's an elder at our church.
He's an elder. He's on
the
the
board member, just a wise guy, spiritually wise guy. Not like a crack jokes wise guy, but he's a wise man of God. And so I was talking to him in the lobby, and he's like, how's it going? I said, I was going great, Leon. I said, my wife's due any day now. So baby 3's coming into the world and my life's going to change. And just said, it's going to be crazy and all that stuff. And I don't think he really thought this was that life changing, but he said, and I quote from the best of my knowledge, he said, well, Tyler, this is your time to shine. And I just went like, how you just said like, yeah, and then like, don't really think about it. So he's like, well, this is your time to shine. And I was like, yeah, yep. And that's it kind of hit me like, what do you mean my time to shine? Like she's having the baby. What? And so then I said, what do you mean? What do you mean my time to shine? Like after I agreed to it, then it kind of set in like, he's telling me this is an opportunity I have. So I was like, well, what do you mean my time to shine? And he goes, well, it's your time to step up to the plate and to show your wife how much you love her. It's an opportunity for you to help out more, to serve more, and to show her through serving, your daughters and your future daughter and her how much you love her.
Right.
He just walked away. And I was like, maybe to some of you, that's not that crazy. But to me, it was like, he just told me that a season in my life that I looked to as like, oh, it's going to be dreadful. Oh, it's going to be tiring. I'm going to have to do more dishes, and I'm going to have to change more diapers, and I'm going to I'm going to do more bath time. Like in my head, it was like, I'm going to have to do so much more because Alicia can't. And I was dreading it, to be honest. I think I'm not the only one that would say that it's a tough time for her spouse.
Yeah.
And he said, no, this is your opportunity to shine. And I've never thought of it as an opportunity. I've always thought of it as like, woe is me. I got to do more around the house now because Alicia can't, because she's down and out for however long the doctor tells her to be,
Yeah.
And like, does she really need to have that long of a recovery? I know wives and moms and ladies, you're going to be mad at me. I'm just saying, these are some of the thoughts I've had that, does she really need 6 weeks to, does she can all those things?
Or seriously, you really need me to blow up that stupid donut? Like, does it work that much? You just put on a donut? Come on.
Do you really need the ice pack again?
You have a pillow. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Oh, fine. Give me this stupid thing. I'll blow up
You
this.
really need the boppy and the heating pad.
All of it.
Yeah. And so that shook me. I walked away and I was just like, what? An opportunity? This is not an opportunity.
Right.
Like this is not something that I have. And so then I took that. So I prayed over it for a while, and man, I really owned that. I was like, you know what, God, let me treat this as an opportunity. Let me not treat this as like, woe is me, but like, let me really go above and beyond and serve her and see what happens. So going into having the baby, after the baby, I've done more dishes than I've ever would love to admit. I've changed more diapers. I've got up almost, besides like 2 feedings since the baby's born. One was going into convention and one was coming back home from convention. She let me sleep, but I've got up for every feeding, changed the diaper, got her boppy, got her a granola bar and 2 ibuprofen, held the water to her lips while she drank it, dropped the ibuprofen in her mouth. I mean, I've done everything I could. to treat it as an opportunity. Now, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying more, to me, it's more shameful to say that I'm 10 years into marriage on kid 3, and now I'm just now serving her like that. I'm not trying to say
But
I'm bragging. I'm saying, dude, why have I not been doing this for 10 years? Why did it take baby 3 and a guy in the lobby to say, this is your opportunity? Dudes don't see it like that.
right. So 2 things. Number 1, if you're a guy who thinks that sometimes the Lord drops wisdom on you and you have something to say it. Leon said that in passing, leaving church, coming to church, just a greeting. And it literally shaped your whole entire pregnancy at the end of it. And then the beginning of the new birth of your child. Number 2, you don't know what you don't know, but once you know, you cannot unknow. So then you shout it to the world. And this is where wisdom is literally grown. This is where it's at. This is why this is why that answer from Christy Drent, like, why is it so hard to find good men? Because they are usually working hard, spending time with other good men. See, Leon's iron, he rubbed on you, he sharpened you because he's iron sharpens iron. And that really, but see, you could have done this too. So he said that too. And you went, yeah, for sure. Right on. Love you, Leon. Peace out. Like, and you walk away and you get in the car and then you're like, wait, what? That's what so many people do because it's embarrassing to ask a question. But you asked the question, therefore you got the wisdom.
I was just more shocked. I was like, yeah, my time to shine. Hold up, wait, what do you mean my time to shine? I ain't gonna do nothing.
Dude, no,
it's not on me.
Like, the Lord's been showing me this concept of ask. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even finished my first book, but I got 4 more books already. Like, this whole weekend of the mastermind thing, like, you have to ask. You have to ask. So Leon asked you, hey, how you doing? How's it coming? Like, hey, it's your time to be king. It's your time to shine, right? He asked you something. And then you had to ask another question to get that wisdom to move. Now, when I haven't wrote anything down. I know you probably can't see it because it's not going to be in focus.
No, I can't read it.
Okay. But it says men don't care for their wives or children or for their sick wives and kids.
Facts.
That's me. All the question you asked me is, Dad, why don't Dad step up?
That's you.
I'm telling you. So, but listen,
I'd be throwing up. Dad be like, you could go to school. I promise you could go to school.
Bro, I'm here. I told you I messed up.
Your favorite words were,
like, your middle name isn't Curtis anymore. Your middle name is Guinea Pig. And I'm like, bro, I did let him grow some hair.
Listen, your favorite statement was stop milking it. I'm like, no, I'm literally puking. Stop milking it.
I'm like, no, was it chunks or was it liquid? I mean, like, I was hard. How long
ago did you have your fever?
But I was like, I ain't raising no kid who's going to punk out. Like, that's, and it goes in all levels. You see people drop out of grad school, back up. You see people drop out of college. Like, you came here for a scholarship. This is your lifetime dream and you're going to walk out. Like, people leave a class because it's hard. Like, you're going to just bail on your dream. So back to what Elon Musk said, right? People run around frantically trying to grab their charger to plug in their iPhone before it dies, but they won't find somebody to find a plan before their dream dies. So I've made a mistake because I'm too hard on you and I wasn't feeling the feelings. But now full circle, it's like we feel the feelings first, right? And then when you're ready to run, then we reboot. But here's the thing for the men. When we ask you a question like, hey, how come you're stuck? How come you and your wife don't communicate? It's so easy to say, bro, she. You know what sucks? It sucks to pull out that deep answer. My deep issue, and this is why Tyler struggles with it, and this is why he was a little embarrassed about saying it, but he's like, I've heard this a lot, and he's pointing at me, and it's true, and I'm okay with it now. When I was a lot younger, I'd be like, dude, how am I supposed to know everything? And, I'm not perfect, and I would just walk out and slam a door or something stupid. But now I can look at that. Like, my number one issue, and Stacey will tell you, is when she's sick, I put her in her bedroom and shut the door and be like, text me if you need me.
look what mom just put in the comments.
Okay.
Dad's favorite line.
That's 100%
go to your room.
Right on time.
Go to your room.
I'm learning. Like, the Lord's working on me. So, and this is why grandpas are nice, because the Lord softens them, I believe, right? But we don't have to wait till we be grandpa to become a good dad. That's stupid.
I've missed a couple comments because I was going do my thing. I heart that it's the love that attracts them to Jesus.
100%. Yes. And it worked with me too, by the way. Like, Stacey pulled me out by love.
Well, yeah, just real quick, because no one wants to do what someone else is telling them to do. I don't care who you are. So even sometimes when Alicia is right and she's telling me to do something, I will do the opposite because I just don't want her to tell me what to do, even though I know I should.
Right.
And that's what sometimes we do to spouses. We say, go to church. And then if you go to church, you're like, I told you church is the right answer. You know, it's like they're not doing it because you're forcing them.
Correct.
Is your phone on?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
There's like a weird echo coming through.
Nope.
All right, whatever. It went away. This is funny. This is when we were talking about who wears the pants in the relationship. He said, "I'd be quiet when she leaves. We'll be talking again." yeah, you wear
Hey, bro.
then when she leaves, you're like, "Nah, I wear the pants. I'm grown.
I'm grown. I'm the man. I'm grown." Bro, we need to make that a t-shirt. If we make that a t-shirt, we'll give it to you.
I wear the pants when she leaves.
Yes.
I'll be talking when she leaves. Alicia said, and he is shining. I've been busting my butt trying to take my opportunity. Here's a good comment. I totally get that. Time to shine. It literally took moving to Florida for Ephesians 5 to jump off the pages to me. My role and understanding as a husband changed my life. Not to brag, but I do all the cooking and cleaning the kitchen. Ooh. Every morning I get up and make my wife's coffee, fill her water bottle, pack her lunch. Whoa, come on. Get all the kids up and ready to leave the house in the morning. It's crazy, but our marriage is beyond blessed because of it. 5 years ago, I would have told you that's a no.
Yeah. So, hey, Adam, answer again. One quick question. Like, I know it's Ephesians 5, but what was the spark? So, like, we always talk about Jesus fans the flame. So we always pray, Lord, fan the flame, Lord, fan the flame. And then the dude will drop some wisdom and you're like, man, that dude's old. Right. So Tyler had to answer it, open up that to trying to see how it fits him. So real quick, just put in the chat, what would be the spark? So I know the move to Florida might be it. You might, but if there's something, somebody said something to you or a Bible verse or something the Lord dropped on you, just put that in there.
Yeah. I was going to go and it's a perfect thing. So all those things right there, you know, because what I want to do is try to give some practicals like, well, what do you mean by lay down your life? And what do you mean by your time to shine? Those things right there. Cooking. Yeah. Dad's favorite line is, I cook, you clean. And so you cook and then you leave and go sit on the couch.
Bro, does it work though? Does it work?
Yeah. So what I've been doing, because I don't want to model what I've been taught, is I cook and then I clean. That's one thing I've changed.
Hey, wait. Don't you call me 1.0? And you're 2.0?
Yeah, we upgraded.
There you go.
We got the firmware update, software. I fill her water bottle at night and in the morning. I get her meds and a protein bar so she doesn't hurt her stomach in the middle of the night. One thing that's been a tough challenge for me is Alicia Milana needs to feed like around 8:15. And so I've been having to put the girls down with also. Do you hear that echo? I
don't have it. It must be just at yours.
I'm gonna turn mine down. Maybe it's picking up. So she's been feeding Milana around 8:15. So I got to put down Stella and Eliza, and Alicia sings to them. I don't know how to sing. So they're up there making me sing all these songs, and they're like, I want mommy to do it. And so, I mean, there's been yes, you hear the echo too.
Okay. The transition. Yeah.
Weird. I don't know what that's from. Yeah. So just some things like that. It doesn't have to be, you know, I'm not like every day I come home, I'm like, how do I serve you? Oh, precious wife. It's small things around the house. Yeah. Like if you see Adam's list or my list, those aren't crazy things. Like he's not saying he dusts the baseboards and licks the floor clean. I mean, it's simple things. I'm just saying, like, sometimes we're like, what do you mean lay down my life? You know, like, dude, just help around the house. Like, just do more things. Like anything more than what you're doing, your wife's going to be happy. I promise.
Yeah. All right.
Unless you're already hitting on all cylinders, you could literally just pick up your plate after dinner and your wife would probably be like, whoa, what's gotten into you?
The number one complaint I hear in the office from a wife to a husband is, and they ask me, they'll be like, hey, Sanchez, so why is it that I have to tell him what to do when he lives in the same house and sees all the mess, all the stuff, everything that needs to be done? Why do I have to tell him? Why can't men walk in and have the awareness to see what a woman sees? And I'm saying there's nothing genetic about that. Nothing. It's a choice issue. So he might have something on his head where he's like, you know, I got to go clean my bow, or I got to go, you know, change the oil in my car. Or he might be so deep in thought that he walks past all the stuff that has to be done. And then when a woman has to tell him, then it's like, oh, I do everything right. And then they get in a fight. So it's really back to the man having the awareness, the full awareness of doing what you have to do. Here's my complaint for men. How can a man go and be a CEO and be the head at work and just kill it? And everybody brag about him and, you know, everyone posts stuff about him. Then he goes home and he's a bum. That doesn't even make sense. Jesus says you start first in Jerusalem, which is for us, that's our house. You are a prince, you're a king, you are the boss at home, and the boss is servant leader. So you lead first at home, and then that should transfer to the office. But
Yep.
in our money driven, possession driven society, it's all about that other side first, and then they come home and they have all these things, and everybody leaves them.
Yep. Esther said it helps to know your spouse's love language. 100%.
Yeah.
I think, in love languages, you can Google that, what the 5 are. But I think every person, regardless if it's your love language, helping chores, it just is a no-brainer. And then to take that a step further would be, gifts and words of affirmation and all those things. But I think just helping around the house I would go out to say that there is not one spouse that if you help more with the kids, they won't love that.
Correct.
That's a universal love language. I promise that.
Yes. And I tell, look, so, okay. So if I came to your house, Ty, and I was spending the weekend,
Dan said, bros, that one hits home.
Awesome. Yeah. What up, Dan? So here's the issue. I tell the guys, like, if you come in and you literally have no awareness of what to do, and then they'll say, well, okay, to be honest, like, I can tell the dishes need to be done. I can tell garbage has to be done. I can tell I need to mow. But like, here's the thing. I'll go mow, but I don't get credit for the mowing. Or I'll do the dishes and I don't get credit for that. So I say, okay, so I feel that. So as a man, I feel that sometimes we do stuff and don't get noticed. Right. But then I flip it back and I'm like, how many times do you tell your wife, good job for picking the kids up from school? Good job because, you got them to their dance class at time. And they go, oh, I feel you. See, women don't get a pat on the back every time they do something. Yeah. So I say, look, when you come in and you see all the awareness pieces that you need to have happen and you're not sure which one's prioritized, wouldn't you ask the boss? If you come into the office and you're like, hey, I don't know what needs to be done first, like, aren't you going to check the memo or check the email or page your boss? I was like, just ask, just to be like, hey, babe, which one should I do first? Like, does it matter?
Yep.
They might not say none of that. Why don't you change diapers?
Me and Alicia got into that like this was before the Leon conversation. We were going back and forth.
This is before your pivot.
This is before I was rebaptized in serving my wife. We got back and forth on this, and I was saying like, well, I did this and I did this, and she was like, how many times have you made their lunch? I was like, she's like, how many times you got their snack ready and put it in their bag? And I was like, how many times you filled up their water bottle before school? I was like, change the subject. Go to something else. Yeah. Mom said, my friend thinks her husband looks sexy when he is vacuuming.
Buy a new vacuum, honey. I'll put it on my Santa list.
Adam followed up. He said, moving down here, I was so depressed. We got in a huge fight, and my wife told me, how can a man of God feel that way? It hurt bad, but I understood what she meant. We didn't know anyone here, and she was teaching. So I had to change all of the kids' records from Iowa to Florida, childcare, and so on. Through prayer, God revealed to me that in that season, that needed to be my role. All I heard for weeks was, love your wife.
There you go. There's a spark. So we pray all the time, fan the flame, Lord, fan the flame. Like we all have a pilot light. That's a flame of the Holy Spirit. And when you pray and fast, that gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And pretty soon that fire is your energy. So when you don't, like, 2 times is a feeling thing. So I heard this isn't mine, but I love it. Feelings are only your compass. So sometimes I listen to this very carefully because that happens to me all the time. I don't know why, but I'm pressured when I drive and I'm praying against that. So like if we have to stop for a break or whatever, and it's like, okay, 15 minutes and we take 22 minutes, I'm all butthurt because we got 7 minutes behind or something stupid. It's just a head thing, my obsessiveness. So I'm praying that ends. But when I was talking about this fan the flame thing and I was praying about it, the Lord showed me something. He's like, you say you have faith, but when you're driving down the road and you think you're off track and you start to spaz out on your wife because she missed the Google turn or whatever, just because we're heading south and all of a sudden look at the map and we're like, wait, how are we going northeast? And I start to freak out on Stacy. Then she's waking up. She's like, I don't know, honey. The thing was saying like, you're listening to the thing. And so we start getting into this. And then I just see the sign pass by and we're still on 71 South. And I'm like, oh, here's the issue. I'm still on 71, but it had to take a bypass, right? So it's going kind of northeast for a second, but we're still on 71. We're still going to get south. When you don't fan your flame, when that flame isn't really big, we don't feel we're on the same road. So we get in our feelings, and our feelings makes us look at the compass and we're like, how am I going northeast? We're supposed to be going south. And then crap hits the fan. You start fighting, you start doing these kind of things. That's exactly what happens to us. You cannot let your feelings dictate how you show up, who you are, and how you express Jesus. I get that. Yes, Christians can be depressed, but not at the same level that other people can be depressed. And the reason is because we lose our priorities. And when you lose your priorities, then we get caught up in our feelings and we get caught up in the world, and we're not in the world system. I can look at my life and look at other people and be like, and Stacey's honest with this. She'll be honest. I get sad sometimes because dudes my age are retired. The dudes my age are like, working maybe an hour, one day a week, because what they do is they put all their money in, and now they've got grown kids and whatever. And I'm not sure about the relationships, but we've poured into so much in our relationships. Our kids are leveled up so hard. And now we're trying to circle back and do more money things, like just so we can retire and stuff like that. But if you look at the wrong priorities, and I chase myself against people who aren't Christians, there's no way my system would be their system, or vice versa. I live Jesus's system. So keep your eyes on the road, make sure you're still on 71 South, and do not let your feelings dictate who you are. Right.
I like it. Sherry, kind of just second about that love language thing.
Mm-hmm.
The way husbands show love can all be different. My husband's love language is giving and receiving, his acts of service. It's taken me many years to understand that as his way of showing love.
Yeah,
I think it comes up to the questions. It's literally, it's the questions. It's there's so many times where I thought I was helping out and showing Alicia love, and she don't care. And so it really comes down to sit down and ask your wife. What, like you said, you don't go to work and just do whatever you want. You have someone telling you what to do, or you got a to-do list. Yes. Talk to the boss. Here's a good one from the in-laws. Paul puts the toilet seat down. He loves me more than himself. Seriously, it's the little things. Exactly. It's the little things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of training too, because your whole life you just don't even do it.
Yep. Love is an action word. Actions of love bring feelings of love. Agreed.
That's awesome.
Amen. When we are led by our feelings, it always ends badly for us. Hey, any other comments or questions? Throw them in the chat. So do you got anything else, or I got a couple things and then we'll end it up?
Yeah, ask a question. I think whatever. I'll answer questions. I don't have any content prepared. I just wanted to be kind of your background.
So here's kind of my challenge to you all, to the spouses, husbands in particular, is ask the question then, where or when is your opportunity? So my opportunity happened because my wife was pregnant, but that opportunity won't happen again for, we can easily say, hopefully another 2 years or so. Right. So once this opportunity, that time shall pass. When she doesn't need me to, she'll be feeling better and fully healed and back to full strength. And then I can't just go, okay, cool, my opportunity is now gone, and now I'll wait again 2.5 years or whatever. And if we have a fourth kid, to say, okay, now it's my opportunity again to show her I love her. So how do we find opportunities on a regular, reoccurring basis to show our wife that we love her?
Yeah. So the first thing is priorities. If you lose your why, you will crash for sure. So remember, you should have a why that like, okay, at the very beginning level is, I know why I'm doing this. That's number one. Number two, your why should make you cry. Now that's a deeper level, because we're going feelings deep, so we're going down. So if my why makes me cry, I'm not going to lose my why because it's motivating. My last one that I would say is my why makes me fly over all the feelings, fly over all the pain, fly over all the doubt, insecurity, and excuses. And it makes me fly over all those pieces so I can see the blessing. We always talk about this, like, right, for the hope set before him, right? Jesus endured the cross, right? His why flew over all the junk that was making him say, hey, Lord, take this cup from me. And all of a sudden he saw the glory, and all of a sudden he flew over the pain. So we lose who we are, and we lose our priorities because we lose our why. This is what I think is dumb. Okay. We laugh about this as deer hunters. Okay. Deer hunters. So deer can smell 1 part per million. So they can smell a human scent a mile away. So for bow hunters who have to get 40 yards, you're going to lose. But we try to beat the deer nose. Okay. This time of the year, it's called the rut. And the reason why it's called the rut, the girls go into heat. So they pee and they leave drips of pee all over the place. And the deer look like pheasant hunting dogs. They're called bird dogging. Their nose is on the ground, and all they care about is their girl, and they're stupid. So that's why we can shoot a buck during this time. Okay. And just so you know, like an average doe per 40 pounds of meat, average buck will give you 90 pounds of meat. So it's way worth shooting a buck, not just for the horns, but you double the meat. Okay. So think about this: a man who chases his girl, his wife, is bird dogging his head's on the ground. He's following his wife like he doesn't even have a mind of his own. He's literally a mini of his wife. Then they get married, and then he's like, oh well, a wife, boom, checkbox. Like, okay, what's next on my list? And they lose their why. They lose their priorities. Then what happens when you lose your priorities? Number one, and for most men, if you're competitive, you chase palms. So palms are the praise of man. The praise of man. So hitting a home run as a softball player, or bowling a 300 game, or whatever it is for you, like mountain biking or doing ragbri or running a marathon. Like I was in that guilty stuff too, just chasing stupid trophies. Then you forget like my trophy, and I don't mean this in any like dirty way, but trophy, my wife. Trophies are my kids. I'm chasing them first. So how do we get here is because we lose our why, and then that changes our priorities, and then we chase what I call palms, right? Which is the praises of man. The Bible talks about it, right? And then that's where we get off. Now, when we lose our priorities, okay, and we're chasing other men and what other men are doing, we get twisted things. Like I could look at LeBron James and be like, dang, I should have been a pro basketball player. Like, really? Like at 5'11"? Like, it's dumb. We compare ourselves to dumb stuff. Like, sometimes I'll be like, man, I should have been a race car driver. Then you realize the average race car driver is like 130 pounds. Like, oh, dude, you can't be 230 and trying to fit in the car. Like,
Yeah, I've seen your jump shot. It's basketball's not it.
you see my crossover though, too, huh?
Yeah.
All your boys got ankle braces on for a reason.
Lies. I went that's deep stuff. I think I went a little more practical.
Yeah.
On just the day to day. And so I followed up, and then Adam actually commented that one of the same things. He said this, he said, what I have found is there's always opportunities. We just have to be mindful and make it a habit to find their love language and love it out daily.
Right.
So that's what I went with, like, just some times when there's opportunities that present. So in this moment, the reason it was so mind boggling to me is because I was going into this 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of newborn dreading it. Right. Yeah, and he said, no, look at it as in a positive way. So I started thinking, what are some other things that I dread in my life that I need to then look at those things as positive? We already talked about one, sickness of the spouse, right?
Yeah.
When she's sick and like, I can't do it. I'm like, well, now I got to do dinner. Now I got to do dishes. Now I got to do bath, rather than like, okay, you know what? You chill on the couch. This is an opportunity for me to show you because you don't feel good. That's never came out of my mouth up until 2 weeks ago. I'm always be like, no, you do feel good enough you can at least do bath. All right, fine. I'll cook. You do the dishes. I'll like barter with. I used to barter with her. Sickness of the kids.
Yes.
A job change. I think Adam said when they moved out, moving.
Yeah.
When moving happens, when a job change happens, cleaning a room out, moving a room, painting. The beginning of a school year. School year is always one of the most stressful times, and usually a lot of that falls on one spouse, and most of the time it's the wife, to try to get the kids ready and school supplies and clothes and all that stuff. What about cleaning when the in-laws are coming into town? When we pull the mop out, Stella will be like, "Oh, Nana and Grandpa are coming." It's the in-law clean.
Exactly.
Cleaning the house on a weekly basis. Can you just chime in? Bedtime. Bath and bedtime. Most of the time. I mean, I'm pretty good at helping out with that. I've always been. That's kind of a fun time for me to help out with bedtime. But I know a lot of times the dudes just kind of chill on the couch, and the wife takes care of bed, and then it's like, okay, run, go give dad a hug on the couch. Okay, good night, dad, and then the kids go. Can you help out with bedtime, dinner time? That's a huge one. Cooking, cleaning, the morning routines. I know a lot of the dudes. A lot of, at least my friends, they are out to work before their kids wake up. But could you do like Adam did? Maybe you pack the lunches and put it in the fridge. You get the water bottles already and do things before you leave. They don't have to be awake before you do it. Can you help some behind the scenes stuff? So those are some things I jotted down.
Yeah. And so the motivation for you as a husband is your kids are watching. I don't remember what year it was. One Christmas, both boys came up and hugged me after Christmas. And they're like, thank you for the gifts, Dad. Thank you for the gifts. And then they go, hey, Dad, why do you spoil Mom so much? Why does Mom get the most spoiling in the whole house? And as weird and awkward as that is, it just made me laugh, because I was like, dang, they're watching that. Like, Because you know how we're always like, oh, we're done with gifts. And there was like, oh, there's one more. And then
it's twofold. Like, it's number one, why do you spoil mom? And number two, why do you act like you don't? And then every single time we know you're going to pull out 2 more gifts.
I'm just funny. It's funny to me because I wasn't doing it for that.
No, but everyone knows when you say, oh, gifts are done. And then you're sitting there grinning from ear to ear. We know you're going to go get 2 more or 5 more gifts from mom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But here's the funny thing. Like I do it to spoil my wife because I mean, my nose is to the ground. I'm still chasing her. Right. But the funny thing is my kids noticed that at a young age. They were probably elementary school, maybe Terrence was in 6th grade, maybe, but they were young, right? And so this is my biggest why for you as men. Okay, second biggest. 1, because Jesus calls you to. Number 2, your kids are watching. So what if you say, well, I don't have boys? Okay, you have girls, great. So you're this lazy bum who sits on the couch and drops his socks off the floor of the man chair, and then you go to bed and there's just dirty clotes.
Hey, dropping the socks off the couch doesn't mean you're a lazy bum.
I'm just saying. And you don't pick it up for 3 weeks. I'm not even calling anybody out. I'm just saying. I hear these stories. You believe the stories I hear.
In the comments. That's her biggest pet peeve. I do. Is
they do that all the time. But what if you have a girl, right? And then your girl sees lazy men. So who do you think they're going to bring home? They're going to bring home what they see. I'm not playing. Like people say this all the time. How do alcoholic kids who grew up with dads who are alcoholic, how come they marry the same dude when they know they're like, my dad was a blah, 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 like bad names, bad words. And the answer is because it's comfortable. You see it, you grow up with it, you know? And I don't want to make this too serious where people get down on themselves. I'm telling you, everything we say at Renew the Mind Clinic, literally everything. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some things I look up, but most of our sayings are because I had to walk through them personally, and I have to teach my kids to walk through it. So like the what moment, hey, you don't know what you don't know, right? The 2 times, those are all me fighting through my own struggles. I'm like, hey, here's a lesson I'm going to teach you guys. And they just become sayings, right? Go ahead. What were you going to say? You're dying.
Oh, because as you said, because that's literally what I do. And then Alicia in the comments said socks. And then Kara Ashley followed it up with, I have started throwing away the socks.
Hey, and I'm not saying just because you throw away the socks, you're lazy, but I'm just saying if you don't pick them up and put them in the dirties, that's the lazy.
And then we got all the ladies are coming out. I hate socks. I literally accidentally vacuumed one up last night. You opened a can of worms.
Hey, if this is the first time you turn into the podcast, I spit truth. Now you got the evidence. You got.
Here's what happens. Okay, I don't like wearing socks when I'm laying on or sitting on the couch, so I forget to take them off when I change. Then I get out to the couch. I'm chilling. I'm like, oh man, my socks are off. On. Take them off. And then it's time to bed. I just don't think, okay, I'm going to look down and pick them up. When Alicia says like, oh, hey, your socks are there, I will grab them. But I never do that. She never does that. Next thing you know, there's like 8.
Yes.
Maybe 10.
Yeah. This will be a whole new show. But if you have boys, teach them to do chores. We have neighbors behind us who are retired. And they came up to me one time. I was mowing and they wave at me and they're real particular about their yard and stuff. So I thought they were gonna get on me because it was pretty long. And she just says, can I say something to you? And I was like, always. And she says, do you notice something? She's like, you're the only parents in the whole neighborhood who makes their kids do chores. And we both look at this and watch you guys. And we just love your family. We're so proud of you. You know, good job. You're doing a great job parenting. Obviously their kids are growing and off and married and they're retired. And it's just that little comment that, you know, like you said, when Leon says that to you, I was mowing there with just the biggest smile on my face because dudes my age, my buddies pull over, roll the window down. And you're like, hey, you're a slave driver, bro. Yeah, you don't make your kids do, you know, mow. They're kids. And they just drive off. I'm like, say what you want.
Yeah.
Right. So have your boys do the chores. Have your girls understand that they need to communicate more than being emotional. The emotional side can come out, but when the emotion comes in front of the words and no one can hear it. So teach them to drop the emotion a little bit and to be a better communicator. We all loved our wives to communicate, but when they yell and scream and yet whatever, then we just walk away. So we got to help working on that. Okay.
It's only bad when he says, hey, I don't have any socks anymore.
Because they're all in the garbage.
Look at Josh. I live alone and even find myself leaving socks by the recliner.
I hit a nerve, huh?
Josh wakes up so mad at himself. He's like, I told myself I was going to pick him up.
I'm not lazy. I am not lazy.
Esther, agree with you. Teach all kids to do chores.
That's true. That's true. But yes, it's true for everybody. But in how we do it was like I emphasize more of the chores on the boys and then more of the emotional control on the girls, because I think naturally, in general, the girls just pick up the chores kind of naturally. They kind of pick up after themselves. Boys are just kind of sloppy. At least my boys. So that's why I said it's more specific.
There you go, Josh. Kara said, "Stop it now, Josh. Give yourself a head start into the happy life. Don't wait for your wife to make you throw them away or put them away. You do it.
Fix it fast. Fix it fast.
Yep.
That's good.
All right. So to wrap it up, I just got a couple things. Just once again, as husbands watching this, find opportunities to absolutely lay down your life in the simplest form to love your spouse. We've rattled off multiple ways. It doesn't have to be having a third kid. It doesn't have to be something monumental. It's just more ways around the house to help out and find opportunities daily. And if you can't do that, then the easiest way is just to ask your spouse, how do I help out more? What do you need me to do to show you I love you more? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? How can I help? How can I help? How can I lend a hand? What can I do to make your life easier, your night easier, your morning easier? It doesn't have to be these monumental, I'm going to redo the whole bathroom. No. Just like we said on here, pick your socks up. Start by picking your socks up.
Yeah. And actually,
that's my challenge to all the dudes.
One of the easiest ones for me, and Stacy loves it, is when we're out together, 2 separate cars, I'll always ask her when we're out, like, hey, do you need gas? And she'll go, yeah. She gets all excited. And then she pulls up behind me and I just fill up her gas, like old school full station gas station. And she gets all happy. And she's all giddy. Then she just goes home and then I get my gas. So it's just the simplest thing. Anytime I take out Stacy's car, I fill it up with gas. It's that simple. Yep. I know she loves it. It doesn't bother me. I could pour gas. It's just weird for her for some reason. So I do it. I cover her. And it's a little love piece that I do for her. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you can ask her, but also you can pay attention to how excited she gets when you do it.
Yep. So to close this out, the statement that changed my marriage was find opportunities to love your wife every day. We got a question. Let's hit this one before we get out.
Okay.
How do you let your spouse take the load or responsibilities of chores when you have major OCD? Oftentimes I don't like the way he does things, so I end up doing them or redoing them.
Yeah. So you have to ask yourself a question. How much stress does it cause you to redo his stuff? And if you do his stuff, he's going to feel like a loser. So he'll actually not do it. So you're actually causing him an aversion therapy, which is we all avoid stuff. So like aversion therapy would be like when you don't put your seatbelt on, that stupid bell that dings, it gets more loud and more annoying. And so it's an adverse reaction to us. So we put the seatbelt in because we don't want to do it. So when something like that happens, your husband won't do it because he'll be averse to doing it because I suck at it anyway. So I won't do it. So again, and my lesson for you would be this, then what are the girls or kids seeing when you're raising them? So that's the thing you want to do. So I would say this, find some things that aren't so important to you. Like whatever your most important pieces are, hang on to those. The stuff that are secondary to you, like picking up dirty socks by the recliner, have him take care of those things.
Yep. I was gonna say that.
Great question.
Have him do the things that don't bother you the most, that are the least bothersome. All right. Last 2 comments. We got to go. Okay. Bridget says, yes, I love when my husband fills my gas tank. Kara seconded that and says, me too, makes me feel like I'm such a lady and taken care of.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. Little things. And
opportunities to love your spouse.
Yeah. And I would say this, one more thing for women. If you have a spouse, make sure you tell him, because I say this all the time, boys, we reinforce each other. We like, if somebody hits a home run, we're like, dude, Tyler was the man. So Tyler gets that accolade in any sport, anything like that. Even in a test, like, dude, I got the highest score, right? At recess, like, dude, I'm the fastest in my class. Like, it's always a feedback thing when people give you feedback. So boys learn a lot in the circles of men by feedback. So make sure you just say something really quick, like, hey, extra proud of you for filling my gas tank. And then, so he'll get the clue.
Or, some little head rub, some I love you, baby. Thank you for doing that. Little kissy, smoochy.
No, if Stacy rubs my head, I'm like, what? I got a bug? Like, what are you doing?
No. Like the dog, little pet behind the ear. Thank
you. No. I'd rather just be like, babe, thank you.
No. All right. Don't ever forget it. There's 2 times to be great: when you feel like it and when you don't. And as always, move towards renew your perspective, move towards uncertainty, and find what's awesome about that in every situation. We love you.
You take a week off and forget your lines, bro.
Peace out. See you later.
We love you. Hey, thanks for the 4,500 downloads. Let's go.
Let's go. Spotify, iTunes, download the podcast, send it to your friends, share this one.
Yes.
See ya later.
Peace.
I had to realize what's inside of me. For all of the people that lied to me. For all of the people that said I would fall off. Oh, boy, what a time to be alive. I wrote this for everyone, feel like they counted out. You need to look in the mirror, tell yourself it's time to be who I am now. Greatness.